I'm Abriel Millet for BYU-Idaho Radio, and today I'm here with the director and a couple of the cast members of Singin in the Rain Junior. This has been the product of a 2-week summer camp, and now they will be performing this weekend. But before we kind of get into that, I'm going to have each of the people kind of introduce themselves so you guys can all get to know them and hear what they're all about.
Katya here. This is our 4th summer doing this theater camp. And after last year, all the kids begged to have this year be a big singing and dance show. And so we picked Singin in the Rain. And it's been a lot of fun. It's a lot of work. It's really, really intense. It's almost like a musical theater boot camp. And it's great for all of the people who are returning because they know what to expect. But every year we do have a handful of new kids who haven't ever done it before. And they learn very quickly how much work goes into putting a show this quality together. And it's not just about creating the show. It's also about a lot of trust and team building and community activities, a lot of theater exercises, learning all the aspects of theater, and the kids get to be hands-on with all of it. So it really becomes their show.
Yeah, and real quick, you guys will be performing this Friday and Saturday, right?
Yeah, this Friday at 7 p.m. and then Saturday at 2 p.m. and again at 7 p.m. So the whole thing is done in 2 weeks. We have 10 days of camp basically, and then on the second weekend we get to perform it 3 times. And we'd love to have full crowds every time. It brings a lot of really great energy for the kids that are in it, and we want to share it with as many people as we can because it's really great.
Evelyn, do you want to introduce yourself and kind of who you will be playing for this play?
Yes, my name is Evelyn Bjork. I play Kathy Selden in this Singin in the Rain camp. This is my 3rd year doing the summer camp, and I find a lot of peace and family through it. And I think it's just really cool how much talent we can find in this area and with kids of all people. And bringing them all together and putting on a really incredible show is just something that's so much fun to do.
Will you introduce yourself, Ian?
I am Ian Blair, and I'm playing Don Lockwood in this upcoming show. This is my 1st year doing it, so it's been a roller coaster of working and getting everything all ready, but it's been super fun and a lot of people to hang out with and work with.
In the timing of things, you saying this is your 1st year, what was, I guess, the most surprising thing about doing this 2-week experiment?
Kind of just the nonstop of it, if that makes sense.
No, that does. Peter, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm Peter Robbins, and I play Cosmo Brown in the upcoming performance. And this is my 4th year doing it, and each year it just gets better. Like, it's so fun how much friends you make, and it's like you make a bond with your cast members on stage. And it's also just so fun to have the adrenaline of performing and putting on a really great show for the audience.
Yeah, and this is a lot of fun. Singin in the Rain is probably one of my favorite movies, to be honest. I mean, the musical aspect of it, and also just, the history of going from silent films to talking movies and how that kind of transitioned the whole world of movies and music and anything like that. I guess what has been each of your guys' favorite, moment or your favorite character line or something that you do in this production?
This is Ian, and I would say doing Good Morning with all 3 of us is always really fun. And I feel like the chemistry between all of us and our characters really pops out of the stage.
This is Evelyn. I think it's really cool how quickly we've connected because a lot of these cast members I've never met before, and how quickly our chemistry came to life on stage. And again, I also think Good Morning is a really fun number to do together. And I think you just tell that we're all really close. And I think it shows on stage.
You said you really quickly bond together as a cast. What do you think helps you get to know your castmates, or what's a way for someone to just grow in their love of their cast when they're learning a play?
Well, I think one thing that really helps with this specific show is that our director, Katya Larson, is really great at creating such a friendly environment when you're there, and it's just really easy to connect with one another. we do lots of bonding exercises, and I got to know some of the people before the show started, so I could start getting to know them better beforehand.
Yeah. Do you have a moment?
Yeah, I was also gonna say good morning, but it's just because that's such a fun number. But I've also really liked that I can bring my energy from outside of theater and put it into my character, and it's just really fun to portray the silliness in Cosmo Brown that I have as Peter, and I've really enjoyed being able to spend time with these guys over here. It's cool being able to be so close outside of theater, and then on stage, our characters get to be so close, and it's just a cool way to bond.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's something I've always enjoyed about theater. I minor in theater, so I definitely have that interest. My best friend and my roommate, she actually is studying theater, Shaylee. But what can you tell me, Katya, about the process of this? Because this is kind of a little different. It being 2 weeks, I read about how you guys you cast in May, and then you kind of for a couple months everyone kind of works on their own. So it's not like they show up 2 weeks ago and they're like, "Hey, we're memorizing lines and we're performing this in a week."
Well, when we started this a few years ago, we really wanted to provide something that wasn't already being provided in the community. There were a lot of great school programs. There were a couple of other community theater opportunities, but there wasn't really anything like this. And I had had experience working on camps like this in California before we moved here. And when I moved here, I was like, oh, there needs to be more for the kids, more for the youth. Especially a lot of these students, they're doing sports throughout the year, or they're doing dance, or, they can't sometimes do theater throughout the year. And so we thought, well, let's create a summer program where maybe they can take just a couple weeks, because everybody's busy. Everybody has a lot going on, especially a lot of these kids that are involved. They're very, very determined and very driven, and they have a lot that they're learning and working on. And so we just kind of squished it into a 2-week program. And I just created sort of a template of a schedule. How in the world can we get this to work? How soon do we have to have auditions? What kinds of things can the people do it on their own ahead of time? And what can wait until we're together at camp, and that kind of thing. And creating the schedule is a beast. It's hours and hours and hours, because every show is different. We did Newsies, we've done Footloose, we did Annie last year, and this year Singin' in the Rain is by far our biggest adventure. It's a huge show. It's a huge, huge show. Tons of costumes. We have 53 campers in the cast. Lots of big set pieces. We've got film, little snippets of black and white film that we're showing, just kind of like the movie did, that we had to film before camp and during camp. There's how do you figure out how to make it rain on stage, There's so many elements that we're adding this time. So Emily Miller, she's a producer, and she runs Teton River Arts and Commerce. And last year we got together and we were like, all right, how do we make this happen? So it's fun because all these kids come to camp thinking, oh, we're going to make this big thing in 2 weeks and it's going to be great. In reality, we've been working on it for like a year. So there's a lot that we do on the production side of it before we get to camp. We've been working on trying to get sponsors and donations and grants. We've been connecting with a bunch of the other local theater communities and trying to see what can we borrow, what can we rent, what can we share. There was a theater that did this show earlier this year in Idaho Falls, and I was able to swap some coaching for them at one of their workshops for their kids, and they let us borrow a bunch of their Singin' in the Rain stuff for our show. So it's been really great to share resources, and all of that takes a lot of time and energy and connecting before we even get to camp. And then, we've got to have auditions early enough that the kids can start to learn their parts and become familiar with the songs and do some research on their characters. These 3, for example, I messaged them the first day, like on auditions day after the show was cast. I was like, all right, you guys have to put in the work between now and when camp starts to figure out how you want to do your characters and to start getting to know each other, and to come to camp with a lot of really good ideas of things that we can incorporate into the show, rather than just, like you said, you can't show up on day one and be like, oh, here I am. I don't know anything about the show. We've had a choreographer coming up from Hale Center Theater to help us with learning all the dances, and that's been a lot of fun. And we have tap dancing. All these kids are doing tap for the first time. We offered a tap workshop for a few weeks leading up to the camp, and it was optional. But we had almost half the kids that came to those tap workshops. And so when we did the tap numbers in the show and taught them, they were able to learn them much more quickly. And that's been really exciting. So we've done a lot of other things to help prepare everybody for it. And of course, we were telling them, drink your water, take your vitamins, get physical activity every day because you're going to be at camp for 7 hours working really hard on every piece of your show, whether it's painting sets or building, creating their own props or costume pieces or working really hard on the singing or the dancing or the character development, that kind of stuff. And we bring in guest coaches. One of the coaches that we brought in this year, she was in the original Broadway cast of Newsies in New York with Jeremy Jordan, and she lives here in Rexburg. And so I was like, hey, can you come and guest coach? And she loved it. She came and was able to teach the kids. And so there's a lot that goes into it in order to be able to pull it off, because it's not, I hate it when people say, oh, it's just a camp. It's just a camp. It's going to be cute. No, these are some of the best shows you will find around here. And many of the people who've been involved, they say that it's the best thing they've ever done. The highest quality and the most heart, and they're very impressive shows. So we really, long answer, we really wanted to give these youth an opportunity to do something that they haven't ever done and aren't doing anywhere else by really pushing them kind of beyond their limits. They're able to do things they didn't ever think that they could, and that's a really exciting thing.
I love that. In what way have you grown? Like, what is a skill that you can take away from singing in the rain, and something that you can be like, well, I learned this from doing this camp?
This is Peter. I don't think a lot of people in the world can say that they know how to tap dance. And that's been one of my favorite things, is being able to do that on stage. That's just a really cool skill to learn.
This is Evelyn. I would say I do sports during the school year, so I don't get to do theater. And it's always fun to come back to these camps and realizing how much fun dancing is and just getting back into it and strengthening my dance skills. And I think that's a really cool part of camp.
Well, I would say singing-wise, over this past 3 months, I've worked with Katya trying to get my voice to where I feel it's good enough for this, so...
No, that's awesome. It seems like it's definitely been a physical challenge, but also something that has given you guys a lot to work with. What can you guys say as a cast and also as a director to encourage people to come? Because like Katya has already said, this is something of high quality and caliber, and you guys have been working on this, and you guys have put in months of effort, if not a year, to kind of put this together. What would you guys say to encourage people of the community to come to this production this weekend?
This is Evelyn, and I would say just the amount of talent in the cast is incredible, because this is a camp that we were paying to be there. So it's mostly people who really, really are passionate about theater and really want to be there, and you can see and feel the heart that everyone's putting into the show, and you can just see all the effort. And like I said, it's an incredibly talented cast. Some of these kids are insane. So I think that makes it worth going to.
This is Peter. The Singing in the Rain story is just magnificent. I really like, even in just this 1 week, I've been able to see how much we are able to include the audience and like have them feel like they're there in this story with you. And it's just like very eye-opening.
I just want to say, don't let the fact that it's teenagers fool you, because I know sometimes people can think, oh, like I said, it's a camp or it's kids. Oh, cute. We don't settle for that with what we do and how we teach and what we expect. And it's all done in a very positive, encouraging way, of course. And the one thing I want to add to what growth I think most people experience is the confidence. We do so many things that help them little by little by little, getting up in front of a group and talking to each other and working together closely on something and singing by themselves and, all kinds of areas to get them more comfortable on stage and in front of a crowd. And every single thing that we do is purposeful, like intentionally getting them to believe more in themselves because they've done it, if that makes sense. It's the sort of like self-efficacy thing. And so everything is designed that way. And the more they do, the more they believe in themselves, the more they believe in each other. And so it kind of goes back to the bond and the connection and the teamwork in the community that happens off the stage and on the stage. And it's magnetic. Like you can feel it like oozing into the audience. And because of how we've set up this show, you really do feel like you're immersed into the middle of it. You're inside the theater watching the film with an audience, and you're, out on the street and there's rain and there's so many moments like that. And I think people will very, very quickly forget that it's a youth production. So I think if nothing else, come and see for yourself how great these kids are and why they keep coming back year after year after year to do it, because they love it so much. They have the passion and they're developing even more skills all the time, but they want to share it with people. They really, really do. It's not just let's make it and keep it to ourselves. Like they want to turn around and give it to everybody else. And that's what makes them so happy. And you can feel that. And it's addicting. It's energetic. It's magnetic. It's beautiful.
I would also say that everyone's emotional connection with their character or just how they've been acting is really entertaining, just to see all of them really get into it and almost lose themselves in the acting part of it. And then seeing them later that day, it's almost hard to remember that they're actually not the character. So, yeah.
Yeah. One thing to add, can you tell us where to buy the tickets?
You can go to tetonriverarts.org. It's right there on the home page. Just scroll down till you see Singin' in the Rain tickets, and you can buy them online. You can also get them at the door if it doesn't sell out. It's probably going to sell out. So your best bet is to get them online, and the seating is reserved, so then you can pick your own seats.
I'm Abrielle Millett for BYU-Idaho Radio, and today I've been here with the cast and the director of Singin' in the Rain Jr. On July 17th, it will be at 7 p.m., and then on the 18th, it will be at 2 p.m. and 7 p.m., and this is all at the Romance Theater. I will say all the people that I've been here, there's a lot of people in this room, but with the director, Katya Larson, Peter Robbins, Ian Blair, and Evelyn Bjork. Yeah, so thank you guys so much for coming in. This is super exciting, and I'm excited for the public to see your productions this week. So thank you guys so much for coming in.
Thank you.
Thank you.